Greetings, YouTube, and welcome to a rare Sunday edition of Trash or Cash Offers. And today we have a very intriguing and somewhat confusing inclusion of a Alliance War defensive bundles. You know, I get really strange messages every day. I get some support, I get some hate, and I get some things that I'm like, if this is sarcasm, it's not support. If it's not sarcasm, it's nice. I don't know how to interpret this message. But one of the things that I've gotten in the last couple months was pushback on the idea that Kabam has their own tier lists. Because, of course, in the MCOC community, we have multiple tier lists depending on different content creators' preferences for which champs. And yes, to a certain extent, it's subjective, but don't kid yourself. There are better champions to use than others, and the longer you go playing this game, the more you know which champs to bring into which nodes and which champs to avoid. So with that being said, Kabam's basically saying with this bundle, hey, we think we know who the best Alliance War defenders are because this entire deal is marketed toward you getting better defenders for your Alliance War rosters. So it's kind of fascinating to me, first of all, that they're so transparent with the fact that they think they know who to use. Now, the real question is, do they actually know who to use? First and foremost, let's look at the right side to determine trash or cash. You know, I always say that the most units I would put for the greater champion boost, the 30%ers that give you plus 30% attack and health for 1 hour, is 300 units. So you get one of those, which I would put at a 300 unit value. 350 4-star Hero Crystal Shards, which is a really random amount of 4-star Hero Crystal Shards. And then an Ultimate Alliance War Defensive Crystal, which has that 20% RNG to get a 4-star. Now, I always say, for the current state of the game, the best deal that we have seen is the Ultimate card, which gave you a chance to get a 4-star every day for 11 days straight for, what, 10 bucks? So when you double that price and you don't guarantee one 4-star, everything besides the boost is trash. Now, the boost itself, I'll put at 300 units. And keep in mind, that's about a $10 value. So total, I think this is probably about, $12 to $15 worth of guaranteed value with a high ceiling of like the asking price of $20. But because this is by no means a deal, and this is coming off of the heels of the week to be both Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I would not endorse this thing at all. I would give this a generous D grade just because of that 30% champion boost mainly, and I would stay clear of this if you are looking for a guaranteed 4-star wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, especially for the $20 asking price. Now, the left side, of course, is always more intriguing because it's double the price. It has more than double the champion boost. In fact, it has triple the champion boost. 10% of a 5-star crystal, which is the same amount of shards you get for 100% completing the heroic difficulty. And then the legendary Alliance War defense crystal, which, let's just see who Kabam thinks are the best defenders in the game and whether or not we agree. Thor Ragnarok, absolutely not. I think Thor Ragnarok is a very easy player to go against an Alliance War. At best, he's middle tier defender. Iceman, definitely a great defender. Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, middle tier defender. Medusa, probably the best defender in the game still when you consider how many people use her as a boss. Absolutely good. Void, not the best, but certainly up there. So I'll say somewhere between the middle tier and the highest tier. That's fine. Mephisto, okay. Same thing with Void. MODOK, incredible. Nightcrawler, incredible. Kingpin, middle tier, but fine. Green Goblin, about the same. That's fine. Dormammu is a little bit hurt by the Mystic Dispersion change, but I still think he's a good defender. Agent Venom, sure. Why the hell is Groot in here? If you're going to use a version of Groot, use King Groot. More guaranteed regeneration, Kabam. But Groot in general, other than the lack of stun duration when you parry, I think is ridiculously easy to defeat. And those of you that still have Mystic Dispersion and bring in someone like a Magic and just use that special 3, once Groot gets all of those debuffs active, you know how much of a joke that fight is. Maybe the title of this is going to be, why is Groot in this bundle? Because it makes no sense. At least put King Groot. Yondu, great defender. Cable, great defender. Spider-Man Classic Awakened, great defender. Mordo, great. Black Panther Civil War, still tough. Sentinel, good. Hyperion, great. Spider-Man Miles Morales, underrated defender. Juggernaut Awakened, fine. Taskmaster as a defender, not great. Middle tier, maybe. Red Hulk, solid but still easy to evade the special one and just spam that. Magic, still great. Used to be the Medusa before Blade. Bishop, underrated on some mini-boss nodes, but not the best defender overall. Morningstar, great, specially awakened. Spider-Man Symbiote, average defender, not really sure why he's on here. Quake, love her to death, not the easiest defender, but still not the best. Doc Ock, underrated defender. Iron Man Infinity War, great defender. And Domino, amazing. So if I would make at least 2 changes, and maybe the second one is not possible because of the current featured 5 and 6 star crystal, but I would at least say in a perfect world, you would switch Groot out altogether for Killmonger, and then maybe switch somebody like Bishop or even Juggernaut out for Korg. Now, I don't know if it's possible to put Korg in this deal right now because of his inclusion in the featured crystal, but that's how I would change it. Nevertheless, you have to look at the drop rates regardless of this deal because most likely 80% of you are going to get a 4-star hero. And $40 for 1 4-star is literally 4 times the asking price for that champion as it was the Ultimate Daily card. Now, of course, it's not really $40 for a 4-star because you do get the 3 boosts and the 1,000 5-star shards, but those are becoming a lot more common. And so realistically speaking, how much they're giving boosts, those 30%ers, I actually think that the more realistic value of those is closer to 200 units than 300 units. So when we go over to our unit retail asking price to compare, if you have 600 units worth of boosts and then 1,000 5-star shards and 1 4-star shard, I think this would be a fair offer if it was $29.99 or the same price as Tony Stark's briefcase, but they've jacked up the price by 10% to, or excuse me, $10 to $30. And because of that, unless you get a 5-star, it is not worth it at all. And I feel so bad for the people who do win the RNG and get a 5-star Groot. I mean, that is clearly the worst prize in this whole deal, and I have no idea why Groot has made it to the legendary Alliance War Defense Crystal for Kabam. Makes no sense to me. But whatever, I'm just here to help you save money. Either way, look, I know there are people out there who always buy these, and because there's a limit of 3, people send me all 3. If you're one of those people who's so rich or irresponsible with money that you can spend $120 on 3 of these, then go for it. But most people who aren't rich and don't want to be irresponsible unless they have a crazy amount of disposable income, save your $120 for Black Friday, which is this week, and Cyber Monday, which is a week from tomorrow. You'll be so thankful you did. Kabam! Take off Groot from this future deal. It sounds like you're on something because Groot is, unlike the champion in your heart, not someone that on defense is ever going to grow on you. Thanks for watching, YouTube.